What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Get Weird with me, your host, Brittany Barbieri. I'm actually so happy you're here. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, what a day. What a day. It's already starting off to be fantastic, right? Right? Let's just stay positive today. My message to you this morning before I kick off this Get Weird stuff with me is I want you to have a more positive outlook today. Look at today and say, I'm going to be positive today. Even if I get hit in the face with a wrench, I'm still going to look at the positivity that I didn't go to the hospital. I just maybe have a bruise. So let's look at the positive today. I hope everybody had an amazing Halloween. I had a great Halloween. It was a great year, great trick-or-treating. It's funny. This is now my time of year where I get really pumped up because we're going into Thanksgiving, Christmas. And no offense to Thanksgiving, it's not Christmas. So I'm really pumped up for Christmas. So yes, the morning of November 1st, we had a great morning hanging out with the kids. I got off social media. And then guess what? Sunday, trees went up, lights are up, everything is up. I'm ready for Christmas and I'm extending this out as long as possible. And the kids are excited and there's way too much candy in my house. They did so good on Halloween and trick-or-treating. It's insane, the amount of candy I handed out. And then we got buckets full back. So my husband and I are both like, anybody who comes to our house, they're getting candy as a parting gift. You're welcome. Enjoy the sugar high. Anyway, so last week, obviously, the episode was about the bride that doesn't blink. I still can't wrap my brain around that one. It's funny. I had some friends reach out to me and were like, oh my gosh, I didn't know about this case. And I'm kind of creeped out, but I'm interested to see this thing. I'm like, yeah, me too. I know. It's so weird. Like you're stuck in this in between of, is it really an embalmed person or is it just a really creepy mannequin? I don't know. I'm stuck in there. But on this week, I wanted to share, obviously, as you all know, I'm in the field, been in the field for over 21 professional years. And before that, I was learning and educating myself and very much having my own experiences and trying to figure it all out. And the moment I could drive or I had friends I could drive, that's when I created my very own like paranormal investigative team. And that was to like investigate all things that were just strange and weird. And then obviously my life turned it into a profession and I'm thankful for that. I like what I do. I obviously don't see the world or the supernatural like everybody else. And I think that when you're in this field, you should find your own lane and what works for you. And that's no one else's business to judge you on that. So my message to all the paranormal teams out there, no matter if you're in UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts, whatever, you're doing awesome. Keep doing you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if that particular investigation or investigative tactic or equipment or whatever you're doing is working for you and your team or for you personally, you have my support. Keep rocking it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, they're doing it wrong. You need to do it like this. You know what? Unless you've got Ghost Pete there sitting next to you, telling you all the ins and outs and you mastered it. Okay. No one can tell you otherwise. Okay. Everybody's experiences is their experiences. And that is nobody else's business. It is just to hear, I'm here to just support you and be like, hey, I'm here for you. What did you experience? I want to hear about it. And I think it's great. So I just want to put that out there because I'm seeing a lot of that online and it's very, very sad. So in light of that, I want to bring a smile to your face today for anybody who has been in the field investigating spirits and ghosts. You can never predict what's going to happen. You can never plan and say, oh, tonight we're definitely going to get evidence. And if you do, you're faking it. Okay. There are some places that are supercharged, and they do have more activity than other places. Like you could almost go every night and like have an experience and there's just no explanation for it. Just supercharged. But then there's other places where you'll investigate for literally a month and get nothing but maybe one EVP and be like, wow, I got a voice. Holy crap. And it wasn't even an A. It wasn't a class A. It was like a B, maybe a C, but I got something. So I want to take it back to when I was first investigating and I had a team. Oh my gosh. This one is just weird, but funny. And I have to share this one because it's a classic story that I still tell to this day. Frickin', let's not age myself here, but it's been some time. And we were young, having fun and investigating with new equipment and just out for the evening. And there was a cemetery about 40 minutes from where I used to live growing up. And what's cool about it is that the story around the cemetery was that there were claims of a vampire who was seen at the cemetery really late at night from because the cemetery sat within a neighborhood. So there were surrounding houses around this cemetery. It was an older cemetery. And they said you could see him, and he always visited just one grave, and he would leave flowers and then he would just vanish. And apparently I never dug too deep into it. I mean, I did have a friend that did and showed the police report for it. I don't know. I need to go back and really, that might be something I do later, dive back into this case. But there was an alleged claim of 2 cops that had gone to the cemetery to tell this visitor, you cannot be here after hours. You just can't be on the property. And when they went to approach him, it was almost like he levitated and he flew down the back of the property of the cemetery, because it kind of went down and came back up and took off. And the cops couldn't keep up with him running. They said it was almost like he was flying. We could not keep up with him. So if anybody sees him again, let us know. But they apparently made a documentation about this, that, we tried to trespass this guy, but he was going way too fast for us, almost like he was flying. I found this to be extremely fascinating. So I was like, we're going. And we had friends that were cops at the time, and they're like, yeah, that's fine. Just make sure you don't touch anything. We'll know you're there. I was very good about that. Anytime we went anywhere that was considered don't go at night, because we had friends that were cops, it was we always wanted to double check, and they always were either there or let the people know at the office, hey, if you get reports, we already know it, we cleared it, it's fine. And so we went that night, and we got there at I want to say 1 o'clock in the morning. And on this particular night, I was driving, and I remember pulling into the cemetery. Y'all listen, okay? You're already hyped up because you're I'm investigating, and you have to be on the ready. Your senses are heightened, and you're just ready for whatever comes. And this cemetery had so many stories already. And I hate when I fill my head with too many stories, because then you're you don't know what's real. You don't know what to expect. You kind of hype yourself up. And so I don't do that so much now anymore, many, many years later. But this was still, in the field process for me, younger me. And so we're going, I'm driving, we get to the cemetery, we pull in, and then we're okay, well, why don't we pull around on the other side, so we're closer to where the alleged sighting took place. Okay, so we pull back out, and it's a large cemetery. We go down the road, and then we turn back into the other side. I'm driving, got my friend in the passenger seat and others in the back, and we're freaking going. And all of a sudden, I turn the wheel, and I turn the car to park. And I see, and it was one of the above ground plots, right? So the person is buried above the ground. And at the bottom, I'm telling you, I see what freaking looks like a demon, like a flat out demon. I slam on my brakes. This thing is in my lights. Its mouth is open. All I see are teeth, glowing eyes, because of the eye shine of the car. And it's small. It's not more than, less than 2 feet tall, right? From the shadow and the figure, and it's long and lengthy and hairless and scary, and it's right next to the bottom. So I freak out, and I always bring my sketchbook, right? And I'm freaking out, and I'm that's it. I saw a demon. Oh my God. It's real. That must have been the vampire in a different form. I'm freaking out. So everybody's what did you see? What do you see? And I just trying to explain it. They're I'm trying to grasp what you saw. It does sound like a demon. I'm I don't know what I saw, but I'm telling you, it was scary. And it made an awful sound. I was listen, oh my God. So I'm sketching this thing out, and I'm telling everybody, I'm telling you all, I saw a demon. I'm telling people this because I'm I know you don't believe me, but I saw something, and nobody else saw it but me. They were what are you looking at? Because everyone was looking in different directions, and I was the one driving because I had to park the car. And of course, the lights of the car light this thing up, light it up. So I'm now younger me in a cemetery at 1 o'clock in the morning, fully believing this vampire turned into this weird demon thing and has been roaming in this cemetery. And the claims of this are real. It's real. It's real. I'm like, that's it. It's real. It's freaking real. So I'm sketching this thing out and I'm like, no, that's not right. And I'm sketching it again. I'm like, oh, that's not right. Sketching it again. So we're now 2 weeks later and we're still talking about this. And I'm like, I'm telling you guys, like, you guys will never believe me, but I know that I saw something that freaking looked like a demon. Like, I cannot explain it to you. So I'm sketching it. I finally nail the sketch. I'm like, finally, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. So I'm showing it to my friends and they're like, okay, I see it. That does kind of look like a demon. I'm like, I'm telling you guys, like, I don't know if we should be doing this anymore. Like, maybe I have different skill sets or I have sensitivity and I'm seeing things that I shouldn't be seeing. Like maybe I don't know if I should be doing this, you know, little teenage me. I'm like, I don't know if I should be doing this. I'm dabbling with the devil. Anyway. And so watching the news one day with my mom, we're watching the news. And the cemetery pops up on the news. And I'm like, Ma, that's the cemetery where I saw that like little demon thing. We're watching the news. And all of a sudden they're like, so we're happy to report that, and I don't remember the name of this little thing. And they're like, I'm just going to say his name was Jamie or James or whatever, Petey, whatever the freaking animal's name was. And they're like, we're just happy to report that he is now back home with his owners. And he had been roaming the cemetery all this time, and they're just happy that he is safe and sound. Y'all, it was a rhesus monkey. And the neighborhood that surrounds this cemetery, one of the neighbors owns a rhesus monkey. And if you've ever seen one, ever, which they're the most, they're the most ugliest monkeys. Oh my God. But look them up if you haven't. And they're like, we're just happy to report that he's back with his owner, safe and sound. And here's this old, hairless, scary rhesus monkey with this person jumping on its head and whatever in the news clip from the town where this darn cemetery was. And I look at my mom and we are busting out laughing. And I said, I told you I saw something. Now at least you know there's like that validation. You're sitting there and you're like, you all gonna believe me now when I tell you I see something out in there, won't ya? Because I mean, to at least have a story to back the claims, and like, it was running around in the cemetery. Yeah, I saw it with if I had known, I could have reported it that night and been like, hey, I saw your monkey. He's in the cemetery tonight. He's scared as crap right now because my lights hit him. He's terrified. He doesn't know what's going on. Y'all, I just felt so good in that moment. Like I wasn't crazy. I wasn't seeing living demons running around in a form in some cemetery somewhere. Oh my God. I was like, you gots to be kidding me right now. So of course I tell my friends, I tell everybody that was involved, and they're just busting out laughing. I'm like, you guys, it's on the news, you know? And so from that point on, obviously I had so many accounts that I could literally go back on where I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And of course, that's what this podcast is for. I do plan to share them with all of you at some point. But this one, it was just funny because of Halloween and because of trick-or-treating and the cemeteries and people with the little cemeteries in their front yard. And of course, like my family is in animals and in working with all different types of wildlife and exotic animals, and especially my brother with his wildlife facility. So we see a lot of wildlife all the time. I grew up around it. But when you're in the middle of an investigation as a teenager with your friends, you're going out because you want to be the next Ed and Lorraine Warren with this claim, and you freaking see what you don't expect to see in a cemetery at 1 o'clock in the morning. Let me tell you, you don't immediately think, oh, I'm going to see a monkey, okay, in the middle of a cemetery in the middle of the night. No, your brain goes, oh my God, I saw a demon. That vampire is real. He took form, and he's probably sitting by this tombstone at night in this, weird figure form. Like, you're just spiraling. You're spiraling because you're young and you're new to it and you're still learning. Y'all, listen. I saw some stuff when I was a kid, but never in my years did I ever think I was going to see a monkey haunting a cemetery at night. That was not in the cards, Tony, for what I expected for me growing up. But anyway, I was so excited to share that with my friends that I wasn't crazy. And it was funny because my sketch that because I draw, and it actually did match the monkey. Like it did. And have you ever seen one with its mouth open? Now imagine that with car lights on it and its glowing eyes, and all you see are fangs because they have some nasty teeth. And then you don't see the nose. You just don't, because their mouth pulls back and you just see these, because we have them in Silver Springs in Florida. And I remember I worked an event there for the summer, and I used to have to tell people all the time, like, hey, just so you know, don't smile at the monkeys. Like, I know you think they're cute. Don't feed them. Don't acknowledge them. Don't pay attention to them. But the worst thing you can do is show them your teeth. Don't be like, oh my God, you're so cute. And just be like grinning at these things, because they take that as like intimidation and they will fight you. They will be like, excuse you? Yeah, same to you, and show you their teeth. It's a whole thing. You can read about it. I'm not making it up. But yeah, so that was an account that I had. And I wanted to share it because, listen, I know that TV and there are certain paranormal accounts out there, they make it just so serious all the time. And, I'm not saying that you should be serious. You should take it serious. It's definitely not something to take lightly when you're investigating the paranormal, whether that be UFOs, Bigfoots, ghosts, whatever, right? You're still dealing with something that you do not understand. You will never probably understand, and you should be cautious. And so I get that. And we should always be professional and respectful. And I am to this day. But you also know, if you are truly in the field as an investigator, there are some funny, lighthearted moments that you walk away laughing your butt off, just being like, I cannot believe that happened. I got scared by Jeffrey kicking the chair the whole night. There's always something. There's always something that you'll walk away laughing, because when you're in the field is real, but you're out there for hours on end, and you're normally with your friends. You're normally with people and you're always cracking jokes and having a good time. And I'll be honest, when you're sitting there just deadpan and you're dead serious and you're like, is anyone there? And it's real quiet. I swear, you don't get evidence then. When you get evidence is when you're not paying attention, you're laughing, having a good time. It's almost like, and I've talked to other investigators about this. I'm like, how come when we're laughing and having a good time, that's when the energy spikes, There's actually science to this, I am sure. There's got to be. I have done some research into the science behind it. And there are more people and more investigators and accounts that talk about how strange it is that when you're more like just kind of in the moment having a good time, that's when the energy spikes. Now, I think it's the vibrations and the energy that we're putting out. Maybe it's changing the frequencies around us, and maybe that's why it's kind of happening. I don't know. But I've always found it fascinating. And so if you really have been in the field, you know that in the field, it's a good time. It's just a fun evening, and you never know what to expect. You never know what's going to happen. And that's the best part. You can be in the woods looking for Sasquatch, and a freaking armadillo will scare the bejesus out of you because it sounds like a massive bear coming through the woods, but it's just an armadillo. But it still cracks you up because you're like, oh my God. And then you look down, it's this little thing just minding its own P's and Q's out for the night. And you're like, good Lord, you sounded massive coming through there. I was scared for my life there for a second. And here in Florida, I'm more scared of the boars and the freaking pigs, the wild pigs we have here, than the bears or Bigfoot for that matter. I will be honest with you on that one, because they are mean and massive. They're mean and massive. But yeah, you can never predict what's going to happen in the field, and it isn't always so serious. And I think you should just enjoy yourself, enjoy what you're doing, have respect for it, and just take pride in what you do. I love the field for that. You're learning something new. You're always learning something new. I don't care what anybody tells you. If anybody tells you, oh, you're not learning something new. Yes, you are. You're always learning something new in the field, because what we thought that meant yesterday could completely go up on its head today because of something else we discovered or something new that we have learned while being in the field. And I think that that's important, is never think that you have all the answers. Never think you know it all when you go out there, because it'll prove you wrong real fast. The woods especially, and hauntings, it'll change your mind real quick about what you think it is. And for me, I just don't look at ghosts the way other people look at ghosts. And I think maybe that's a topic for next week that I want to dive into, is how I perceive spirits and ghosts versus the way other people or other teams. And I think it's okay to have these ideas and look at things differently, because no one really has the correct answer yet. And that's great, because that still encourages us to get out there and keep investigating. It's the same thing with Bigfoot. I have been obsessed with Bigfoot since I was a little girl. My whole office is like Bigfoot threw up in here. And literally, I love it. I can't get enough of learning about Sasquatch, learning about Bigfoot. When you have something that is known all over the planet for freaking centuries, I mean, come on, like there's something to it. There's something to it. What it is, we may never know, but there's something to it. And I love Bigfoot. I don't care. I will cast 20,000 freaking different footsteps if I could. I don't care. I just love the prints. I love the investigation behind it. I love being out in the woods anyway. And then you imagine being out with something so primitive, something that's out there and has managed to evade human interaction for so long and is out there just living like a primate, just enjoying life. And it's evolved and adapted to different areas and climates and environments to survive. And it's not really that far out of the realm of possible. We're still learning about animals every day in science, and especially in zoology, which is something I study. And honestly, you learn about this stuff all the time, and it's taught to us in zoology, honestly. That was one of the biggest things in the certification of zoology, was learning about the fact that we have not discovered all of the species on this planet. And that could be from the smallest to the largest. So we have to remain open, especially the ocean. Whoa, buddy. Don't even get me started about the ocean. There's so much uncharted out there when you think about it. Let's think about it, right? Like, I know someone that's listening right now is shaking their head, because when it comes to the ocean, man, we are but a fly on a beach, because it is so massive. We don't know. And we don't know what's on this planet. There are so many regions that are still uncharted that we haven't really gone to. We haven't really investigated, because it's so dense. We don't know what's in there. And honestly, when people say there's a dinosaur in the Congo, I don't go, oh, right, no way. Okay, that's impossible. No, I don't. I go, yeah, you're probably right. There probably is, because there's many different species of types of dinosaurs that could have evolved and adapted to live and stay in the Congo. If you look at the way that the whole earth shifted, it didn't change much. Congo didn't really change much. And so I'm like, yeah, I could see that. Because the smaller dinosaurs, why not? Why not believe in it? I believe the people that live there. I don't like when people go, oh, that's impossible. But I live in a city, and I've never lived anywhere out in the middle of nowhere and see how dense it is and how things can actually live out there. But I'm going to tell these locals that grew up here their whole life and live with this thing that they don't know what they're talking about, and they don't know what they're seeing. But I'm going to tell them that they're wrong. No way. I'm listening to those guys. They live there all the time, and they're fighting off this thing that allegedly they named it after stopping the flow of water, for God's sakes. Don't even try and get me to say that tongue twister for the dinosaur in the Congo, because I always jack it up wrong. And everybody out there knows, when we all try and talk about this in cryptozoology, there are some. Ken Gerhardt mastered how to pronounce it, but I tongue twist that up really bad. But it's a great case. And I believe in that dinosaur. I do. When you hear the people talk about it, the locals there, the villagers there, they know what a crocodile is, people. Believe me, they know, because half of their village were eaten by them. Like, they know what a crocodile is. But when you talk about a dinosaur and you show pictures to these people that don't have television, don't have this type of stuff, and they show photographs or sketchings, and they're like, it's that. And you're like, that's a freaking dinosaur they just pointed out. Not the crocodile, not the hippopotamus. No, yep, that's the dinosaur. And they all are like, yes, it's that. I'm going to go with the locals. Now, you can hate me or love me for that, but it is what it is. I'm going to go with the locals, because I believe that the locals know what they're talking about. They live there. I can't wrap my brain around where I'm sent off for like a week to go there, right? And I'm not going to probably see anything in that week. Absolutely not. There's migration patterns. There's times of the year you're going to see, even here in the United States, there's certain times of the year you can only see certain animals because they migrate. They do things. Hello. So if I'm there, I could be there in the off season. I may not see this thing. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. My God, like no way. So I'm always, obviously, a fake account when people make up stuff just because they want to be on TV or they want to be seen or they want to be known, whatever. You know in your gut, you're like, I don't believe this. But these people, they got nothing to gain from it. Nothing. Zero. And it feeds their family if they can take it down. Like zero. It's those claims, it's those types of people, the locals, that I really enjoy listening to. And I will always stay on the side of the eyewitness. To an extent, obviously, like I said, if you are a liar and you're making up stuff just because you want to put your stuff out there, I can't support that. I can't, just be honest, right? But there are people that have real accounts and they're so scared to come forward with these real accounts out of being judged. No way. Especially in the Bigfoot community, I have heard so many amazing claims and stories from their property or from their grandparents' property or, their friends' property. And they're out there and they're documenting this stuff that really even animal experts can't explain, right? And so I'm going to listen to them. I think it's awesome. I think it's cool. And at the end of the day, who cares? This is amazing stuff that I just enjoy hearing. And I like hearing what they're experiencing. It is not my place to say they didn't experience it. You didn't experience that. I'm sorry. Who are you? You don't live there. That's how I look at it for myself. That's just how I am. I don't think that's a bad way to be. I'm just super supportive of our community and the people that have experiences. And I want them to know that they can always share their accounts with me. And I've been that way for years because I've had my own experiences. And I know how hard it is to share that with somebody without them looking at you like, oh my God, you're so weird. Now everybody knows Brittany's just weird. Thus this podcast. So Brittany's weird and Brittany's into the weird stuff. And you can ask her about weird stuff and she'll just pop out of nowhere. I'm that person at a party. Like if I hear somebody talking about Bigfoot, I'm going to get a little closer. Just in case they have questions. Just saying. And I was always that person in my line of work. I worked in the entertainment industry. I worked on film and movie sets and all that stuff in the background, right? I was in front of the camera and behind the camera. I did a bunch of stuff, right? That's just I grew up in the industry. It just is what it is, folks. There it is. And I hate when I put that out there because everybody's like, you are one of those. No, I'm not one of those. Thanks. Not one of those. Didn't even like the industry that much. Freaking hated it, to be honest with you. I enjoyed meeting people like on sets. But I was always that person that people would be like, I think my house is haunted. I swear to God, I had a ghost at my house last night. I don't know what's going on all of a sudden. And people would be like, you got to go talk to Brittany. They would all come to me. It was like I had a sign on my shirt that was like, hey, are you into weird stuff like ghosts, Bigfoot, UFOs? Come talk to me. I'm your girl. Like, I don't know what, but it happened. It was my whole life. I couldn't even be at a restaurant. You can ask my family. You can even ask my husband. Happens to this very day. It could be our server or whatever, and they will come and they will just be talking to us, telling us our life story. And then all of a sudden it gets weird. Then it gets paranormal. Then it gets real weird. And my husband's like, I don't get it. Why do people just talk to you about this stuff? I'm like, I don't know. It has been my life. This has been my life. I can't even be in a pool in a hotel enjoying my weekend without somebody coming up to me and sparking a conversation with me. And then it always turns to paranormal, not by my doing, their doing. So I know my purpose in this world is to be the ear, the listener for those that have accounts. And you know what? I freaking love it. I do. I love hearing what people have to say. I truly enjoy it. I love accounts and I want to be there for each and every one of them. And I love when I get emails from people asking me their questions or sending me photographs or telling me, what they saw. And, some of them want answers. Some of them just want to be taken off that edge of like, I have to live here. Is this really haunted? Like, there's always those claims. Or do you really think this is a Bigfoot in my backyard? Like, and we go over these things and I freaking love hearing from those people. I will always be on their side. I'm a believer, folks. It is what it is. I love the weird and the strange and the unusual. I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm a weird person. I like what I do. I like who I am. I love comedy. And I feel like there's a wonderful balance between doing what I do and bringing humor to it and making it lighthearted and fun for the whole family. Like, I totally love sharing my work with my kids and doing all of that with my kids, because I think the next generation should have a healthy respect for all these fields, but not be scared of it. There's no agenda behind it. I don't want to scare anybody but with it. Like, let's just have fun and educate the kids. You know what I mean? Like, if you take down that fear a little bit, then they're more up to like wanting to know about it and be more involved. And I think that that's important. We need the next generation to keep this going, but let's not hate. Let's just share love. And I'm going to wrap it up because this one was a little bit longer because I rambled. I'm sorry. I got into it a little bit because I'm passionate about this. And I think everybody who knows me knows that. But I hope you enjoyed my ridiculous monkey in the cemetery story, because honestly, it was so good. And I will have to share the story of the time I chucked a chair at a ghost. I did. I full blown chucked the chair at a ghost. I don't know why. It went right through the guy. So anyway, until next time, everybody, just stay weird. Stay weird, stay curious, have fun. And thanks for having this wonderful, weird phone call with me. Till next time.